Hello. My name is Ahmed. Osaa, I'm from Ghana. Um, I want to start with a question by asking with the theme that says Africa's next generation. Is Africa really going to chase his generation out of Africa? Is Africa really want to kill their intellectual before they become those professors and architects to build the Africa? I said no. My story started back home when I was in a secondary school in Accra, Ghana. I attended a boys' school when growing up is a boys' school, and during my time of the school, there's everybody has to get a senior who is supposed to be taking care of him in terms of protecting him from being bullied from other guys on the campus. And then, fortunately for me, my senior introduced me to homosexual. And I was so happy because when I was leaving to school, my mother told me that, Ahmed, make sure that you don't impregnate any lady because the way you're growing up, can be. So it was in my mind that if I dated a man, it's gonna be the easiest way for me not to worry my mother. So initially I was so happy and we were having fun together. It took me some time to realize that I grew up to like men, to be like my partners like that. And it went on with my school father for a while until one time we were caught in an act in the dormitory, I called, and we were about to be beaten up and expelled from school. So we have to beg and argue that we're not, because we have to save our life. The reason why we have to do that because it is illegal. Like the law says that you're not supposed to be a gay in Ghana. And the mainstream religious, like the religious body, the traditionals, form a vigilante group to get rid of. They say this is something like a disease, cancer is worrying our community, and those people are not supposed to live, and it's not part of our culture. But yet still, those political leaders and invite people from outside who are intellectual, regardless of their sexual orientation, to give them a contract to build Africa. So this thing happened to me when I realized that Africa, we're not supposed to put people in that corner, as one of my colleagues said, to hide those things, and then because we don't want to come out and then pretend like this is who we are. I went there with my school father, and things was good until he graduated and left me. And I also had another date that we having fun until I left the school. Like when I graduated and went home. And when I got home, I was always with guys who come to me, live with me in my room, and my parents, by then my father was dead, so my mother and my grandmother who was there, and they were very suspicious, and my sisters, they were asking me questions. Why at this age, naturally you should be dating a lady, but we don't see you doing that. And I said, oh, I'm not interested, but I can't tell them, because if I tell them, I'm putting my life into danger, because they themselves can hang me out. So I have to pretend until it gets to a point that the questions were so much, I feel so pressured, and I have to date a lady. And they realized, oh, this guy is like that, and the relationship didn't work on well with me. So I went back to I went back to date my guy who I am with before when we were in school, and we were so happy. But this time I went so secretly because I start to hear the news of what is going on about gays in Ghana. It's really, really, really horrible. You heard the news about people being expelled from school because of their sexual orientation. You heard the news of people being killed because of their sexual orientation. And people don't get to join, like when you join the queue to buy a food, they can just look at you, just get out of here, you are bad luck, you can stand here, people will not buy my food. And people will not sit next to you because of that discrimination, because of who you are. And was so horrific, like I became so afraid, so I have to hide it. Until one day after work, because I was working normal, I have a normal life, but I still hide in that. Many people don't know me in that. One day I went out with my guys, and during a drink after that, it was late in the night, and one of the guys called me and he said, "Oh, it's my birthday tomorrow." And I said, "Oh, then I have to give you a birthday gift." I just kissed him passionately on the parking lot. There I saw some people pointing at us. I said, "Oh, this is not going to be easy for us." So I told the guys, "Hey guys, we have to leave because I sense danger." And everybody sat his car and we left. I didn't know that I was being followed until I get home. That day I parked my car in the entrance, the main gate, and I saw 2 cars came from behind, they came and parked, and then these 7 guys came out and they just attacked me with everything they have. They were holding machetes, some cut knives and stuff like that, and they just attacked me and bombarded me with questions. "Are you a gay?" They asked me, we saw you kissing somebody. We're gonna get rid of you one after the other because you can't live in this life, in this community here. So I was so afraid. I was tortured. I was beaten, had some cuts in my arms, my back, and my stomach. After a while, they just hit my head on the wall, the main wall of the house, and I fell unconscious. So my sister at that time was around early in the morning, 2 a.m., saw my headlight, the car's headlight, and she came out. So when she saw that I was down bleeding, she called me for several times before I came back, and she asked me what happened, and at that moment I thought I'm dying, so I have to tell her the truth. So I told her that, "Oh, this is what happened, and these people attacked me, and this is who I am." From there, my mother disowned me, and I have to leave. I managed to get out of, because she said if I don't leave, she's gonna call those people to come again. So I left, and then get some local stitches because I bled so bad from my stomach. And I went to another pharmacy to get some medicine like antibiotic and left for Togo. In Togo, I spent some few days, and I get well there, but thinking if I should go back to my life again in Togo is gonna be difficult. If I have to live open life with my gay life, it's gonna be difficult for me, so I have to leave. So from there, I flew to Ecuador. And in Ecuador, I tried to seek asylum, but the language barrier was so difficult for me. I can't read and write Spanish. So I have to leave. And after a while, I followed some guys to the United States. Was so dangerous for me to walk by road to United States. I saw people dying. I walked through jungles. I spent days without food. And it was really, really terrible. And after a while, when we were detained at some places, and then after a while we get to Mexico, we spent some days there, and I entered Matamoros. And from there, that was the biggest surprise I ever had, because I was thinking I go there and tell them who I am, and pop, I'll get the asylum. And I was shackled with chains, like my waist, and that was the moment I'll never ever forget in my life, because I felt so humiliated, I felt so bad, and I regretted, if I should have stayed back in Ecuador would be fine, because it haunts me a lot. It gets to a point that when I remember when we were in chain, we were following each other, and I remember this is what the slavery felt. I felt the same thing, how they felt, and was really, really touching. I never thought I'm gonna forget this until I went through counseling when I came here. Coming here too was really, really hard. I have to work for some hours in the cold. But when I get to Canada, truly I was given a good reception. I was thinking I'm gonna be in shackles. But the Canadian border immigration did not do that. They helped me, they saw me I was really cold. They gave me a warm welcome, a tea, hot tea, blankets, and they asked me all sort of things, and I was expecting to be shackled. And they said, no, you are free to go, and we will arrange a bus for you. I will never forget this one too, because that's the opposite side of what I experienced in United States. And I really, really appreciate what happened that day, because I'll never forget it. I am telling you my story because I don't see people taking the role of God in their hand, like who deserve to live because of what they believe in. And I'm telling you this story because if Africa is killing its generation now, who is going to be there in the future to grow Africa? Thank you very much.